Hi guys, welcome to my first YouTube tutorial. My name is Lami, and today we're just going to do a basic makeup from skin first to brows and eyeshadow, and we're using this with Nigerian products. Right now I'm just moisturizing my face with Mismetics moisturizer, just to moisturize your face, make sure your face is all hydrated and moisturized. And prior to that, what I did was use Mismetics micellar water to clean my face, make sure it's clean, and I got rid of all the dirt on my face. And then after I moisturize, I always want to lock in the moisture with Mario Badescu rose water, and that's just to put in the lock, make sure the moisture is well locked and sitting or satin. Hey, which one is correct? I don't know. But and then the next thing I used was the Zaron oil block. It is just basically to block your oils. More or less, I use that for my primer. I just use two things before I start my makeup. And then I'm using the Beauty by Didi lip gloss, which smells amazing, by the way, to moisturize my lip. And then the next thing I do is go with Avor and foundation and L'Oreal foundation. L'Oreal is more liquidish, so I just use that to mix my foundation and give it more liquidness. And next thing I'm using is the Beauty by Didi makeup tray to mix my makeup, and then the palette, the spoon to put it on my skin, and then the Beauty by Didi beauty blender. What I'm doing next is tapping the makeup product into my skin. I just put the makeup product into my skin, make sure it is locked in instead of dragging, and instead of moving it away, I'm pushing it into my skin to give it a perfect blend. And I was so happy with the with the foundation, with the way it looked on my skin. And then I always move my hand lightly on it so that I'm not putting too much pressure on the skin with the beauty blender and the foundation. And all I do is just move it around my skin, my jaw, my face, under my eye, but not too much under my eye because you don't want too much product there. That works for me so that my highlighter is not breaking. And then the next thing I use is my concealer, Avor concealer underneath my eyes, and I just put I think that one was too much, but usually I put a little bit of product, and then I put a darker concealer to just to blend it out and give it a perfect look. And then, why is my mouth like that? Oh, look at the way I did my mouth. I'm sure I did my mouth like that in almost all the videos. Either ways, I'm just blending that into my skin, putting it in lightly, and I'm not putting too much pressure. And I use the other side of the same beauty blender just to make sure that I'm using a clean side of the beauty blender on my skin. And I'm just blending and blending and blending, making sure that everything is blended in properly and I'm not leaving so much ash lines. And you just want to make sure you go in thoroughly and look thoroughly. You could even put your eyes inside the mirror just to make sure it's as perfect. And then I use the Half-Cast mineralized powder in the shade 003 for darker people, and that's just to lock in the highlighter, the concealer into the skin, just to make sure. For this makeup video I'm going to be using powder blush and powder contour, which is the easiest, by the way, because it's easy to blend. In my next video it will be cream contour and cream blush, just to show different types. And then I'm going to be using brushes to be applying my foundation and my highlighter or concealer. So I'm just putting that mineralized powder everywhere. What am I looking for? I'm using the Nice powder everywhere that I highlighted with the concealer. And then next I use my powder palette, which I'm going to show later on in the video. It's a Blossom powder. I just use it in to do my contour. I take it from the front of my brow down to my nose bridge, and then down to the nose, since it's the nose. And I just blend it in, make sure it shows, but still blend it in. And afterwards I go in with my contour. I do my mouth one kind just to make sure that that I get the contour part. And I go to my forehead. I put the powder, but I make sure that I don't put too much so that my face is not darker than it's supposed to be in the places that needs them to be darker. And I just look at it. If I see that is not enough, it's better to put small than you keep adding than to put a lot. So I saw that it was not enough, that I put more. And then I have this blush contour that I use. Blush palette, pardon me, that I use. I've had this since 2018, and I just always use it. I mix 3 colors together and just to get that color, and then I put it where I smile from. So the part of my cheek that is more pronounced when I smile, I put it on there, and then I put it into the contour so that the color will mix together and will give it a very beautiful look. And then I'm going to do it at the other side, and then I'm taking it upward, almost to where my forehead is, just to give it a bit of color. And after doing all of that, just so I could bake and set my face, I go in with my setting powder, and I just use the foam to apply it in there, just to make sure it bakes properly, so that at the end of the time that I'm done with my eyeshadow, if there's any other leftover product over there, I could use my brush to just brush it away. So I just basically set my face and bake my face like that. And I also do it to where the contour is, so that it can, it can be smooth and straight at the end of the day. And that's my powder palette, the Blossom powder palette. I think it's 12 colors in there. And I just take the last 2, which I'll give the color in the description box below, and then I just use that powder to go through my face where I didn't bake and where it doesn't have other bakeness. I just use that powder to put powder on my face. And then next I'm going in with my brow gel, which is from Beauty by Didi or Didi Beauty, and I'll use the spoolie also from Didi Beauty, just to apply the brow gel to my skin, to my brow. And then I'm going to use the inside of the spoolie, that side, the straight side, just to push it in and press it in, make sure it's going into the brow, and I'm not leaving some, you're not putting so much product in there. And I use the spoolie brush again to just brush it out. I don't shape in my brow, I barely do, and because it's not a lot there, so I just leave it as it is. And then once I'm done putting the brow gel in there, I use my powder just to mattify it, to make it, make the brow pencil, when I apply it on it, make it look more visible. That's why I put the powder in there. And I just go below the hair, and then use my pencil to outline the hair that is there. And then I put it in the beginning to see where I should start, then tilt it to see where my arc is, and then tilt it to see where it should end. I always do that just to make sure I'm not putting my brow, I'm not starting it too far from where it's supposed to start and ending it too far from where it's supposed to end. So I do that for the second part of the brow, just lightly stroking that in. You don't want to put too much pressure on your wrist and on the brow pencil. You just want to make sure that you're doing it as lightly as you can. Don't worry it will show. If it's doing like as if it does not want to show, it will still show at the end of the day, especially when you put in your concealer, it will show. So you want to do that, and then go on top. See, the way I use the brow gel to raise my brow, that's where I know the part that is up is where I know to outline it, if that makes sense, because I like my brow big. I don't like it too small, neither do I like it too big, but I like it moderately big, and I don't like too much arc. I just put as little arc as I can at the end and make the mouth or the end very small. And that's just my preference. You could do it however you like. And then what I'm doing again is just to make sure I get my arc and then curve or arc it from where the arc is supposed to start, and then meet it with the end of the brow. And then after that, I use if you notice, I didn't start the upper side of the brow from the beginning. I started it from like the half part, just to make it look a bit more natural. And then I'll go in again with the brush to make sure that all my hair is inside that small box, so it doesn't go outside and I start looking like something else that I don't know. And then after that, I just gently stroke the beginning of the brow and then fill in the rest of the brow gently. I don't put too much pressure. So you want to make sure you don't put too much pressure if you don't want it to be too bold. Then I did the rest of camera. And I just repeated the same process from the other brow to the next brow. And then I'm using my DD Beauty concealer brush. And also my Avol concealer. Usually, because I want all the brow to be bright, usually I would use a lighter shade in the middle, because I always start from the middle and then just outline it. You want to make sure that you put enough product on the concealer brush, and then from the tip you just start outlining the brow. You just follow what you've drawn. You don't want to think too much about it. You just follow what you've drawn, and just to make sure you are doing it neatly and the concealer is not drying out, you blend every part that you just conceal, if that makes sense. Then if you need to conceal more, you put the concealer and then you blend again. So like I said, usually I would use the middle. I would use a lighter shade for the middle of the brow, and then the front and the back will be a darker shade, just so it blends right into the skin. But for today, I just wanted something bright for the whole brow. I don't know why I did it like that, but I just wanted something bright. And then I conceal it properly, lightly as well. You want to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure and you're not taking the concealer outside of the brow too much, because you want everything to blend as much as it can. And all I'm doing is I just concealed the under part, and then I go with a lighter shade of concealer. So when you're concealing or highlighting underneath your brow, you want to go with about 2 to 3 shades lighter, and underneath your eyes as well, you want to go 2 to 3 shades lighter. But for on top of the concealer, I always like to go like same shade or 1 shade lighter, just to make sure that the top of the brow is not too bright, that you won't be able to blend it into the upper part of your skin, if that makes sense. So like I said, whatever it is that you're doing or concealing, you want to make sure that you blend that upper part. You want to blend it in immediately. And then when I saw that it wasn't act enough, or it wasn't what I wanted, all I just did was go in with the pencil again, just to give it more defined. The brow will not look the same. They will look similar, but they will not look exactly the same. Even twins gone, if they are not the same in their attitude and everything they do, they're not the same. So I did the second brow off the camera, just follow the same process for the first and do the second one, and then I blended it in. Then what I'm doing right now is using that same blossom powder that I used for my skin. I'm just putting it into my eye to make sure I blend the concealer, to not make it creamy but to make it matte. And then I use my shade to do it as well, just to give the concealer a darker form. And afterwards, what I do is use that same powder palette. I use that same powder palette and use my MK brush to define my nose contour. Since I already concealed that part, I want to define my nose contour again, and then I'll blend it again just to make sure it looks beautiful and looks perfect. And the next thing I will be doing after this is my eyeshadow. So all I just did was to make sure that the contour goes to the front of my brow and then back to my nose bridge. And then for my eyeshadow, for my transition color, and transition color is the color you use to get ready for the application of your eyeshadow. You want to go with a lighter natural shade of color. I always use my powder because it's easier to blend. You don't want to use something that is not easy to blend if you're starting to use makeup. So what I just use is that powder, and then I take a brush and then I go in circular form, not to my brow bone, but to my, my eye form, my eye circle, my eyelid, if that makes sense. And then I just take the brush and go in circular motion back and forth just to make sure I give it a perfect application. And then once it's not enough, I do it again and again and again till I feel it is perfect. Then afterwards, I use my blending brush just to blend out the outer part to give it a very good look, and that's the shade that I used for my transition. And after that, I will then use my eyeshadow palette, which is also from Avor. That palette has suffered. See how dirty it is. And then I'll use an orange shade and a yellowish shade, both of them, just to give my transition more color and to bring it out to look more natural and beautiful. So I just use my eyeshadow brush just to give it that, extra form of orangeness, burntness. If my words don't have meaning, I beg you shall understand what I'm saying. So after I do that, I make sure that, after applying those shade of color, I blend it as well with my blending brush. I want to blend it out to make sure it looks okay. You see, it's still the brown color, but it has more life to it, if that makes sense. So I just blend it out, just use that brush to color it over it. And what I used is a pink shade with my eyeshadow brush as well. I used that pink shade to go over it. I just wanted a very natural, simple look for people. And this makeup look is just for people who don't want to put too much color on their eyes, just to make sure that they have a cute look. I just go in with that bright color, but not too bright. And then after I put it over my eyelid, I use my blending brush just to blend the shadow, just to blend everything out. Then I go also with that same brush that I used for my transition. I used to apply more colors to blend everything in together. Voiceover is not easy. Please take me as I am. So afterwards, I'm showing the color that I used for the outer part, and then for the inner part, the V line of the eyes, I used that other color. And then after that, I go with my DD Beauty eyeliner. I love this eyeliner so much because once you apply it, it dries immediately. So it is not even leaving like any other, like if you look up and look down, your eyeliner is not mixing with any other thing on your face. So I just use that eyeliner to go in to the eye, above the eyelashes, just that line above the eyelashes. I use my eyeliner just to give it more color and to make it more defined. And then I go outside just to bring it out a little bit, which I beg, the process that I was doing there was not processing, so I just left it alone. And then I went to the wing. All I do is just bring it out of the eye, just bring it out, and then once I have that form or that shape, I just fill it a bit in, and that's all. So I did the second eye of the camera as well. And then I'm using DD Beauty mascara. I love this mascara a lot because I don't really like using false lashes on my eyes. So the mascara helps me to bring out my eyelashes that I don't even have, but it's giving me hope. So I use that for my my lashes, just to bring it out and give it more look. See, shade my eyelashes that didn't have hope before now has hope because of DD Beauty mascara. Thank you, DD Beauty, for whatever it is that you did with this mascara. And then the next thing I do is, For my under eye, I go with a lighter shade just to, give it a highlighting structure. And then I just use that lighter shade of powder to dust out the setting powder that I've had before. Hey, stop doing your mask like that now. And then I just use that powder shade just to run with my chest. As you know, my neck and my chest, they are fighting. They are doing color competition. So I just use that shade just to go over every part that I've baked or that I've put setting powder. And then I use that powder to go over it. And then after I'm done to blend it out, I use my normal shade of powder to go over the rest of it. That's after all of this is said and done. So just like I'm doing, I use my normal shade of powder to go over every place that I've highlighted. The reason I put that on my smile line is because when I'm smiling, God gave me extra look. My smile line will go in, so I don't want my makeup to break. So I just use that powder to go over it, and I set my smile line, just to make sure I don't have breakage. You see this side of this makeup, it did not want to go away. That line that I gave, it did not want to go away, but the power of God helped me to remove it. So I just use my brush to go over my face, and then I'm using Blossom Makeup highlighter, bronzer, if that makes sense, to go over my blush and give me a shiny look. I want to be shiny like a star. I am a star. So I use that highlighter to go over it and to make sure I give it a very beautiful look. I go over my forehead. I also go over my chin and my I don't know what that thing's called, but my lip. Then I go over my nose bridge and my nose, and I just use that as a base. Then I use Nuban Beauty The Glow in Men. I use that. Is like a powderish highlighter, if that makes sense. So I just use that more to enhance my highlighter, to make sure at least if I'm coming from Kaduna, you people will be seeing my highlighter from Ogun State. And then after I'm done, I use my Mario Badescu setting spray just to set my face now. Look at fine gay. Just to set my face and make sure, everything is rhyming and everything is sitting in properly. And after I'm done with all of those powder, I do my under eye. I don't put too much to it. If you want it more defined, then you can apply it more. But I just put like a little bit. I drag my eye down and put a little bit. I do it after my powder so that if I apply my powder onto my eyes, it's not going to take away that eyeliner that I put. And then next I'm using Davis pencil just to line my lip. Let me tell you a very small story. You see, when I was doing this lip, I felt like my people from Ogun State were following me. I don't know why I used that extra lip liner on my lip. But at the end of the day, to God be the glory, everything became good. So all I'm just doing is, you will see what I'm saying in a bit. All I did was use the liner to, this is what I'm talking about. I used the Davis pencil to line my lip, and I wanted to give it a more brown look. I don't know who sent me. That's why I used that Didi Beauty lip liner to go over it. But when I saw that I was not satisfied and the brush was not doing what I wanted, I used my hand to blend the lip liner, and then it became something that I liked eventually. And then I'm just using Beauty by Didi Beauty lip gloss, which is also a form of lipstick, but it's a lip gloss. I like liquid lip. I like my lip with gloss. So I used that lip gloss to go outside, and then put a nudish look. Nudish lipstick. Whichever one you push, you shall take me as I am. I use the nudish lip to bring it out and make it look more nice. Over it, all I just did was use my mat to blend it, and then afterwards, just to give it a more darker look, I used the Davis pencil again to line it. So I want to tell you people that whenever you are doing makeup and the makeup is not looking as you want it, just trust the process. Blend, trust the process. Make sure it looks okay at the end of the day. You can take out something and put something else. But for this one, I didn't like the lip at first, but then I figured it out. That's how makeup is. Not everything is perfect at the end of the day. So I'm just showing you the lipstick that I use for the outer part of my lip and the inner part of my lip. And then we're done. Oh, your girl is now looking like human being. Thank you very much.